On the Move. I'm Alexis Majid, Chief Communications Officer at Hampton Roads Transit. Here at On the Move, we like to highlight what's going on in Hampton Roads and talk about the important work being done by organizations with a shared interest in moving the region forward. Today, I'm joined by Nancy GRDEN, President and CEO at Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable was formed earlier this year, a merger of Hampton Roads Business Roundtable and Reinvent Hampton Roads. Nancy, could you tell us about the roundtable and how the merger came about?
Sure, I'll be happy to. The interesting thing is, we have a big region here, as you certainly know. A lot of municipalities and units of government. And so a lot of what we like to do is think regionally. And so we actually had two organizations, the Hampton Roads Business Roundtable and Reinvent, that had similar kinds of roles. And we thought, for simplicity, avoiding overlap, avoiding duplication, we thought it made a lot of sense to bring the two groups together. So we did in the early part of the year, renamed it the Hampton Roads Executive Roundtable, and we're all about the region. We are trying to grow jobs here, we're trying to incorporate more innovation and entrepreneurship in our region, and we also manage the Go Virginia program, which is an amazing state program that really helps with entrepreneurship, scale up activities, workforce, and also some training. Yeah.
Along those same lines, a main goal of the roundtable is to promote regionalism over competition among the localities. How are you doing that, and why is that important?
Well, it's extremely important. First of all, it's hard to imagine another region in the whole country that has literally 17 municipalities and a big geography that we have, and no one city really prevails. So a lot of what we do is really think about what I'll call the constellation of cities. The fact that when you put them all together, we have an amazing array of assets and opportunities, frankly, that no one city has. So a lot of what we try to do, all of us who are in the regional role, is talk about the big picture. What can City A, City B, University A, University C, companies all bring together that really make this unique? And what's exciting about doing that is we have a number of partners along with us, the Hampton Roads Alliance, the Workforce Council, the Planning District, absolutely HRT for sure, and many others who all think about the region from that perspective. So that's a lot of what we try to do, is think about that, and also to think about how do we compare with regions across the country. Because a lot of what we're trying to also do is really talk about the assets that we have here.
Amazing. The organization recently applied for a Federal Economic Development Tech Hubs grant. What would that bring to the region?
Well, it's interesting. The federal government now is encouraging regions to apply. So not a city, not a university, and to form a consortium. And so it really made complete sense for our region to actually try that. So we decided to apply for something called Nexus. That's an acronym for National Excellence in Uncrewed Systems, an Air, Land, Sea, Space, and Digital Hub. And what we want to do is think about the region that we have, bringing together all of the uncrewed is the new unmanned, uncrewed systems and autonomous systems for building them, testing them, training, commercialization in the Hampton Roads region, Eastern Shore, and up into Delaware and Southern Maryland. So we would actually, if we won the grant, have a center of excellence for all these amazing assets. Wow. And then when you imagine we've got NASA Wallops, NASA Langley, Jefferson Lab, the Navy, we have a number of federal assets that most regions just don't have all of this in one place. So, we'll roll the dice. If we get the grant, that's wonderful. If we don't, we have actually formed a coalition to do some other things with it. So more to come.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Your group is focused on keeping local talent and growing the workforce. Can you talk a little bit about those efforts?
Absolutely. One of the things that we really consider as we look at other regions across the country is two things. What's happening with the talent, right? Are people coming and going? You yourself could be an example. What do you see about staying in the region with job opportunities, housing costs, cost of living, and just the cool factor about a place? So a lot of what we're trying to do is really understand migration patterns. What do people like about here? What can we do better? How do we really attract and retain talent in the region? And related to that is how do we also think about the young companies that are here, who want to grow, they want to scale, and frankly, we want to keep them. So part of what we're doing is first understanding what's the picture here, and then we plan to, again, from a regional perspective, really create some initiatives that would help really retain and attract talent here. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about the roundtable acting in a supporting role for the Go Virginia Region 5. Can you explain that initiative and how it's helping our region?
Sure. First of all, the Commonwealth of Virginia started an amazing program called Go Virginia, Growth and Opportunity Virginia, in 2016. And the whole idea was to really encourage municipalities and organizations to work together to do a couple things. One was to focus on key industries that are really going to grow their region, and to do it by funding entrepreneurship programs, workforce programs, industry scale-up, growing areas, and then site preparations. And so the way they organize it in the state, there are 9 regions, and we are Region 5, and we run from the Eastern Shore, Williamsburg, York County, the entire South Side, and then all the way over to Alawite, Franklin, and that whole geography is Region 5. So the exciting thing about it is in the short period of time that Go Virginia's been running, over $80 million has come into this region through direct state appropriations coming because of the program, and then because they have a match requirement, we've been able to attract other dollars. So that's pretty amazing. And a couple of quick examples. It's funded a major entrepreneurial program called 757 CoLab, which is really all about growing and scaling companies. It's funded an incredible workforce program in maritime, which went on to win more federal money through the Great Jobs Challenge. So like startup money to win even more. We funded recently some very exciting projects in green hydrogen, green technology for energy. We funded one to look at all of the airspace in our region, so not the ground, but the air. We need to coordinate with HRT here about the airspace, airports, eVTOLs, and so on, about how that can make a difference in the region. So I think you get the idea. It's all about understanding more about how our region can grow and how we can use those state monies. Yeah.
That's some pretty exciting stuff. If people want to learn more about the organization, where should they go?
The good news is we're going to have a website that will be up and running in November. It's under construction since we have a new organization, but it would be roundtablehr.org. And if you go there right now, you'll see a little under construction sign. It'll be ready in November.
Okay. Great. Well, we will be sure to include a link to that information along with this video. Nancy, I would like to thank you for being here today. And this has been On the Move. We'll see you next time.